probably have a lot more harmonic distortion. It is our experience, however, that some very good sounding headphones have a significant amount of harmonic distortion, so it would be wrong to assume that just because there are a lot of distortion products that the headphones sound bad. It's not the case. The ears have to be the guide here. Ratings agrees with this consensus as they say, luckily harmonic distortion is hard to perceive by ear alone, and although noticeable at higher amounts or by very sensitive ears, for most people it's rarely audible. Therefore, a good rule of thumb seems to be ignoring total harmonic distortion unless it's too significant, which will usually only be the case in very low quality headphones. Soundstage is an interesting and important concept for headphones. Unfortunately, there is not yet a very good way to quantify or measure soundstage. According to ratings, soundstage describes the perceived location, size, and environment where the music or sound is happening. Headphones that can reproduce this effect give the impression that sound is coming from outside in a room rather than inside a vacuum in your head. A headphone with a good soundstage will sound more like speakers in a room compared to headphones on your head. While we have no good ways to measure soundstage, there are some methods that we can still resort to. For example, open-back headphones tend to have better sound stages than their closed-back brethren. Additionally, higher quality headphones tend to have better sound stages in general. Finally, reading reviews can give you some insight into the sound stage of headphones, and of course, trying them out yourself works too. Stereo imaging is how well the headphones replicate the direction of the perceived source of the sound by using two speakers. How closely the left and right speaker match each other's measurements helps to maintain this effect and provide superior effect. One commonly held belief is the idea that more speakers is always better. Take surround sound, for example. Setting up speakers all over the room certainly makes the sound feel enveloping, but by the time it reaches your ears, it becomes a single waveform per ear, so the same effect can be achieved at a much lower cost and with much less effort by using headphones. Pablo Gutierrez Pereira and Jose J. Lopez explore how the differences in low and high audio quality headphones affect spatial perception. Quote, to this purpose, a series of perceptual tests have been carried out with a virtual headphone listening test methodology. The first experiment focuses on the analysis of how the disparity of sensitivity between the two transducers affects the final result. The second test studies the influence of the frequency response relating quality and spatial impression. The third test analyzes the effects of distortion using Volterra kernel scheme for the simulation of the distortion using convolutions. Finally, the fourth trial